first card from the moon deck. Let us see what we got. I feel like there's a record going. There's a lot of these same cards that I keep pulling over and over and over again. So this is the ancestors card. I celebrate my lineage and honor my ancestors. So typically when this card comes up, it means one of a few things. This actually feels like it could mean multiple. Maybe more than one is coming up for you. Oftentimes it's something to the effect of quality time with your elders, literally talking to them, whether it's in-person time or making that phone call or sending that email or whatever it is, gaining wisdom from them. Can also be spirit team. So you're sitting down in meditation. I know I did this morning. And I sat down and I had received all of these journal prompts last week. And so I had saved them to do this morning. And so I sat there and was channeling, things for my business, things for me personally. So I had a bunch of different questions. I did that. So that's a great thing to do on a day like today and aligning with this energy. And separately, it could be connecting to your roots. So we have, a family tree on here. So connecting to your ancestry as far as culture, as far as history. It does seem like for some people, this could mean, the visual that I'm getting is it's like you're digging up the roots in sense of like the old wounds, like revealing them, like having those wounds come to the surface and actually looking at them and treating them. Like I'm seeing, it's like the ground is being dug up and there's roots in there and some of them are like rotted. And then people are like spraying them with some sort of a solution to try to get rid of like what's grown on it. So for some people, that's maybe the type of work that you are doing today or that you are recognizing today that needs to be done. So even if you're not applying that solvent or solution today, you're just in recognition that like there's some work to be done here. The moon is in Taurus for most of the day. Taurus is the fixed earth sign, very much earth, talking about a tree. It's talking about stability, moving slow, intentionally, being very thoughtful. Materialism, I wouldn't say was apparent in that message, but still. We do have a void moon that will be popping up. I don't typically talk about these, but it is 4 hours, so a reasonable chunk of time that's happening Eastern time this evening. It's around 5:30 to 9:30 p.m. So especially if you're going to be someone who's outside shoveling because of the storm, there's a bit of it's like a wobble in energy when you have a void moon. It essentially means like it's not in connection with any other planets. So it's just kind of like in the abyss by itself. And so that could mean some more things come up or things fall apart or just your energy level shifts a bit during that time. And then we do have the moon going into Gemini before end of day. So at that like 9:30 point. So we have the transition day. We have Taurus, we have void, and we have a little bit of Gemini at the tail end. And Gemini is very much about communication. That's air sign. So we're kind of getting into, and Gemini is associated with the hands. So I love that we have like her hands are very present and prominent in this card. So I can see how we have a bit of a mix of both. We have the shadow card. There's medicine in my shadow. So this 1-2 combo for me is significant. So when you see, like, think about the exercises, think about what I was talking about, not exclusively for, everyone, but looking at the healing of the roots, what's wounded. When you're talking about shadow work, that's what this is. So it's medicine in your shadow. It's not being afraid to look at what's not working, look at your fears, look at what makes you feel not safe or secure, Taurus energy. So we're being more open to the wisdom that comes through. I do like here that we have the Gemini moon like fully encapsulated on this day, the Tuesday. So it's the information coming in, it's asking the questions, it's being really inquisitive, thoughtful. And also here, like we have this owl and it's like, it's on her head, it's on her mind. It's like what's on her mind, her thoughts, her, well, it's not perspective. I'm getting that it's not about her perspective, but it's about the wisdom that's coming through. This can just be, this is about the information, and it literally could be, so you have a relative that just like tells you something. It doesn't mean it's like some deep wounds. There were variants in here. I keep talking about the roots because that seems like it's a really strong and dominant storyline, but there were other iterations of how the week is started with like the connection. And it also could be like with your culture and that part of your ancestry. But then this is like your personal journey. Like most of this week is about what it is that you are doing as an individual. So it's like whatever it is that's coming up today, you are thinking about processing tomorrow. So for Wednesday, Thursday, it's the Moonology Manifestation Oracle Deck. All right, so for Wednesday, okay. All right, I've had enough. This is incredibly, incredibly strong messaging. I know we're only 3 cards in, but this is a very consistent, tight storyline. So we have first quarter moon in Scorpio, release your blocks. So Scorpio is a sign, fixed water sign, one that is unafraid to think about the taboo, look into the darkness. Literally, what have we been talking about? It's also sister sign to Taurus, which is the energy that we have today. Releasing your blocks. So, can recap here. Getting some information, understanding, being able to assess what's going on as relates to our roots, however you are taking that. Asking the right questions, really introspecting, looking to understand, what does this mean? What needs to be healed? Wednesday, we're releasing. We've identified what's not serving us anymore. We've identified the rot on those roots, how they got there, why they've persisted. No other major astrology. We do have another void moon in Gemini that starts around 6 p.m. So it's the last, what is that? Last quarter of the day. We have a void moon situation. The encouragement here is to do some of this work in that first 3/4 of the day rather than at the tail end. Full moon in Virgo, take inspired action. This is getting ridiculous. This is ridiculous to me. All right. So Virgo, we're back to earth signs. We're back to earth signs and we're picking up where we left off. So this is, we were starting to take action on Wednesday, and the action was we're releasing our blocks. And now it's, okay, now that we have cleared, when you have a full moons are about a culmination point. Wow, I'm grateful for the things that I've done, including the journey from Monday to Tuesday to Wednesday and what it is that we went through in the first part of this week. And now that we've refilled our cup, that we have, Virgo assessed what's going on, we can see all of the inner workings, we're looking to improve. Virgo is a sign of growth. That's why it's inspired action. We're not taking any action. We're saying what's going to be in alignment. Now that I know it's not working, now that I've done some releasing, it's like the new moon energy when you clean your space out. Then now you can set the intention. Obviously, we're talking about a full moon, but it's like, okay, I'm open, I'm connected, I'm lit up at the higher vibration. I've pulled myself out of the darkness, because that's part of really what we had. Possibility, hope, optimism. Great. So it's like, let's start doing something that's gonna keep us in that headspace and that perspective. And then what do we have for astrology? So for Thursday, we have Cancer moon and Mercury retrograde begins. So we keep having a sister sign situation going on here. So it's happening in Pisces, this full moon in Virgo card. And Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So there is a strong connection happening here. So on one hand, it's like we have the optimism, we have the hope, And okay, well, what can I do? But we always have to have the reminder with astrology that actions, that's Mars, actions are different than our thoughts. So while our thoughts are often Pisces, sister sign, all the way across the zodiac, in an area that Mercury doesn't like to be, where it's dysfunctional, and it's in retrograde, which means it's processing, it could be dwelling, it could be ruminating. We want to focus on that positive, optimistic side of what our potential is and what's possible, and just this becoming the true north. Okay, well, I'm just going to take action that I know is aligned. I know it's aligned from like the previous things that I just learned in the last few days. I'm just going to focus on that because like the rest of my mind is going to be jumbled and off doing some other things. It's also the focus on caretaking. So maybe some of the action that you're feeling drawn to take is very compassionate, is that of helping other people. But we don't want the boundaries to slip. We don't want to be ruminating about, oh, taking care of other people, or is this okay, or is that okay, or and then having the boundaries, the work that we've been putting in. If you've been listening to my week ahead readings really over the last month, there's been a consistent pattern about our relationship with time, the boundaries that we're setting with ourselves and in relationships. And so we don't want that to slip. This seems like this is the caveat for Thursday. It's like we don't want Thursday to be the day that all of a sudden we slip. Ace of Pentacles. Whoop. All right, so when we have an ace card, ace is the beginning in tarot, so it's number 1. Pentacles are earth, so we have the seed of an opportunity. If I keep getting like investment, so where is it that we're looking to invest, or who's investing within us? So you can see like the visual, so it's like the hand for outreach. So it marks like the beginning of something. How can we ground? How can we slow down? We've been talking about this like over and over and over again. And when we can go slower, we're going to catch things that need to be healed, tended to, be able to take the corresponding actions to make those adjustments, to move forward in whatever way is possible, depending on the circumstances. Just before this, reminder, we're in an earth sign, and this was kind of coming in as like about our attitude of like, okay, what action do we want to take that's in alignment? And then when we get to, what day are we on, Friday? It's like, all right, here's the thing. Here's the step. Like we're taking it. So we were gearing up. We were pulling everything together because there was so much to process and so many facets to integrate. And then now we get here and it's like, okay, here's the step. Here's the step that we're taking. And Friday we have Mars in Aquarius squaring Uranus and Taurus. Taurus, more Taurus energy coming back up. All right, so that is about action. Mars is action. It's the first step. It's action, drama, it's surprises, something that rattles us into change. What is change if not a new beginning, something that's starting? So I think that this is interesting. This is where, if it is something that's presenting specifically as like an investment or something related to finances, Taurus has a financial association with it too. So that I think this is not surprising. But because of the Uranus placement there, which is like, woo, surprise. How about this? How about that? Like and it's in a square. And that's tension. It's like lessons being learned. It's not necessarily the most supportive dynamic going on. So we want to be watchful, I'd say mindful, but as we've already established, our mind is a little like, woo, already, but especially once we get to Thursday with the retrograde going. So this is like, warning, let's not rush to whatever the step is. This is Earth. We're going to move slowly to take the step, and we're only taking the step based on what we've already sorted out this week, not new information, not a surprise of something that pops up. That's how we want to distinguish this, that anything that we're doing each day this week is directly building upon the things that we were doing, not something new. The only thing that's new is what happens today. This is the only like source of information. And then from that point, we're just building off of that. So that's kind of like the number one safeguard that we can have in place as protection, if you will, from whatever it is that crops up on Friday. It's like, okay, that's great. That's happening over there. Maybe that's bad. That's happening over there. We're focusing on the steps, the journey that we're taking this week. Everything I just said, we have the Hermit. The Hermit is literally, as you can see this person, they're walking away into a cave. The Hermit is, we're going to crawl away by ourselves. We're going to have alone time. This is like this card to a 10. It's like we're circling back on this. It's like we go underground. We're processing. We're tuning out what's going on. So I think we have a few transition points here, but it's like we're just going deeper and deeper and deeper as the week is progressing. And this is, quite literally. We're going into the cave, we're going into the underground. This can also be spiritual as well. So maybe throughout the week, we weren't really talking about spirituality at all. That's okay. But maybe this becomes the opportunity. Maybe you're using some divination tools. Maybe you're getting a reading. Maybe you are channeling with your guides. If you didn't do that, if that wasn't your choice for today, for Monday, then this is a great opportunity on that Saturday to really go inward. And what we're looking for is wisdom, healing, depth, checking any of the dark corners that we might have missed. If the Hermit is about going into the darkness, the alone, Leo is ruled by the sun. It wants to be seen. It wants to be visible. That is the exact opposite of what we are doing here. This isn't for anybody else's eyes. This is for us. This is private. We need to do our soul work, sort things out. And then, when we feel ready, we'll come out, we'll share, or not. We'll just be different, act differently, speak differently, whatever it is that we want to do once we come on the other side of that. If this feels a little fatiguing, because this is weighty this whole week. So by the time you get here, if you're just like, okay, I get that I have to keep going inward and I have to keep burrowing, but like this is feeling like a lot, then maybe, maybe, you could bring in something that maybe feels more creative. So what you are doing during the introspection, maybe you're like, well, journal prompts that don't feel creative enough. So I want to make music. I keep seeing like ceramics or pottery. It's like doing something as a creative outlet for you to be channeling and processing whatever it is. So that is also an option. King of Swords. So this is about the mastery of the mind. Mastery of mind, mastery of speech, mastery of thought. I associate with it's like a man of few words, so woman, person of few words. Our language is succinct. It is sharp. I've already stated we're in a Mercury retrograde starting on Thursday. Our mind is a very important player, like how we're thinking about things, the narratives we're telling ourselves, the people that we're talking to. That's also very cleanly overlapping really the entire time. No major astrology happening on Sunday. We're fast approaching the early morning eclipse portal. So we're going to already start feeling it, even though it's not eclipse day on Sunday. We're going to start feeling it. And guess what? It's in Virgo. It's in an earth sign. It's what we've been talking about all week. It's in the sign that is ruled by Mercury, the mind. We've been talking about it all week. The framing being really important. I'm seeing like window dressing. So it's like somebody putting like the panel curtains on and then they put them up and they look at them. And they're like, I hate the color of those. Take them down, start over. It's like the reminder that we can keep starting over. We can keep trying the reframes. If that reframe didn't work, it didn't stick, it didn't help, pick a new avenue. Take it from a different angle. So we're starting with some information's coming in. We are having conversations. We're still in We're switching into the Gemini moon energy. So we have a combination of earth and air just in day one today. And we have this new info. We're collecting it. We're receiving it. Tuesday, we're processing it. We're deeply processing it. We're staying in the mind. And this is a Gemini moon day. We're staying in the mind. So we have 2 days in a row, we're staying in the mind. And then we start pivoting into this whole section where we're taking action. So it's like releasing blocks, inspired action that's working off of it, taking just the one step, making sure it's in alignment, making sure that it's following what we've been doing all week long. And then we get back, we bookend again. So we have 2, 3, 2. So the 3 in the middle, which is Wednesday to Friday, those are all like the action days, if you will. Monday, Tuesday, thinking, information, processing, asking questions. Saturday, Sunday, we're back to the mind again. We're introspecting. We're folding in intuition. We're folding in play. If we're like, I am tired of this week, we can fold in a Leo moon play energy. But this is serious. This is intense work. This is going even deeper than what we were doing at the beginning of the week on Tuesday on that shadow work day. And then we come out and we have mastery on the other side. I didn't even talk about that before. We're going in, we're learning, we're introspecting, and then we're coming out and we're a master. That's in 24 hours. That's great. So it means that we're really getting some wisdom. We don't need to share it. This is the person of few words. We don't have to share what we have been ideating, what we have been processing, integrating, etc. But we are more, again, for lack of a better word, we're clear-minded, but in general, we're not clear-minded, but we are more clarified. We can streamline, concentrate that language down to what's really going on, what we have learned from the introspection, the soul work, the healing, going all the way back to Monday today, the wisdom, the history, the rotted roots that we have identified. We have our ability, our agency to keep making choices. We can decide, we can take action to try to support the mind and be like, okay, this isn't working, try something else. This isn't working, try something else, and just keep doing that. And we're putting on the different hats. And we can do that as many times as we need, because again, we're mastering our mind. We're mastering the processes. It doesn't have to be ruling us. It's a mind over matter situation. We're not harnessing the mind because it's like, it's kind of on its own little mission and thing, its journey that's happening. But we can harness the wisdom, the information that we get. We can harness our own energy, our own reserves. Those are all, I just keep getting, it's like those are all independent processes. They're wings, they're parts of us. And yes, it's great when they can all be on the same page and in tandem, but right now we don't really have that. It's like this hand is doing something and this other hand is doing something and that foot is doing something and our heart is doing something else and our mind is doing something else and our soul is doing something else. And that's okay. But we can grab a few of those and try to get them to work together, even if it's in starts and stops. But it's not really about progress towards a goal. It's about doing the healing towards ourselves. And healing is a constantly evolving process. The shadow work, things we've been talking about here, you don't do this once. You do this, some months go by, some years go by, you do it again, you may not do it the same exact way. That's the sentiment we have here. It's like, this is just a process. It's how we are moving through, how we are processing the external. It's the introspection, and we can do that independent of chaos happening, independent of surprises emerging, independent of not feeling tired or low energy, but feeling foggy. We can still act even if we feel foggy, as long as we're just focusing on continuing. It's like when you develop a routine. You can be waking up, you're like, oh my gosh, I feel so tired. I feel really out of it. But like, if you have a routine that you've been doing for weeks or for months, that's what we've been working on. We've been working on making changes to our schedule. So it's just like, just as much as you humanly possibly can, continuing that continuing the pattern that you've created. So it's like your mind can be independent. It can be off on its own journey. And you just, okay, just got to keep doing the things that have been working. Keep doing the things that have been working. Release what's not. Follow what's aligned. Be careful about pivoting. Just try not to pivot. Just stay the course, one step at a time. Keep looking inward. Keep the focus. Don't let your mind rule you. Yes, I'm talking about, well, there's a lot of earth energy. There's a lot of air energy. There's our bell curve of what's going on with thoughts versus actions. That's really consistent throughout the whole week. And so picking a lane could mean for you, seems like when you're picking the lane, you're picking it now. You're picking it today. You can just decide today to keep it simple and just lock in and be like, so this is going to be my mission for the week. This is going to be my area of focus. And this is where I'm going to do some shadow work tomorrow, release some blocks the next day, take inspired action the day after, take the one small step the day after that, do some even deeper soul work, introspection, fold in some spirituality, and then have my thoughts clarified. It gives you kind of a clean instruction manual for the week ahead, and you can really simplify it from that context and just say, all right, so what's on the agenda for today? Well, today I can have my topic, my area of life that I've already picked. And that's a way we can make this like a little bit more bite-sized. It feels like that will be really helpful, especially given everything like I was talking about for Friday. Energy, portals activated, popping up. Make sure to get into a comfortable seat, or if you would like to lay down, you may. 10 deep inhales and slow exhales. All right, so we're going to do some box breathing here. Inhale for a count of 5. Hold gently, not with tension, for a count of 5. Exhale for a count of 5. Hold again, and then we'll repeat that whole process 5 times. We're going to do one final round to bookend of 10 deep inhales and slow, intentional exhales. Grab whatever you're using to journal today. And we are going to be using the following journal prompt. I read it at one point while we were doing the breathwork practice and tried not to laugh because, wow, is it funny. Reminder, I channel these ahead of when I actually do these classes. Where can I release this week? So that's our prompt. Where can I release this week? Releasing the need to do anything out of obligation. Yeah, in some ways kind of similar to what I got, only out of love in my heart. I'm still working on recognizing whether I desire to do something from my heart or out of obligation or habit, or just a desire to people please. Yes. Also release wanting to figure it all out this week. Just enjoy and have fun with what I discover about myself. 100%, Crystal. Yeah, ours are kind of similar. So we have a bit of a, a pattern going on. Wednesday of releasing our blocks. So this is already a theme that's infused in this week. And maybe some of the things that we're letting go are what our mind is doing because of all that mind activity. Maybe some of where we're letting go is the action. That's that bell curve in the middle of the week of the things that we think we need to do or that we should do. But those actions are supposed to be in alignment with us, what makes sense for us. So it is woven into the full narrative.